Hey, Soul Sparklers, it's all happening.
With the soul sparkle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Soul Sparkle Living Show. I'm so glad to be back with you this week and joined by the one and only Natalie Bullen. Welcome to the show, Natalie.
I am so excited to be here. I am really a fan of you, Hayley.
Well, you know what is so cool is that I've been in your world now for at least a year because I was in on the shenanigans this time last year when your Facebook thing blew up accidentally. And I think even before that, I've been kind of enamored and in awe of the level of consistency I think that you have, which I aspire to be that consistent in the way that I show up and communicate. But it's just been really beautiful to watch you, all of this magic that you do in the world. And then now all these new things that you're kind of stepping into, right? So I want to just dive in. And I know that you have a really inspiring story of kind of your old life versus the new life as an entrepreneur, and really how you've done such a beautiful job of bringing through all of the expertise and the passion and the wisdom that you had in your kind of first, iteration, and you've brought that now into your entrepreneurial journey. Do you want to share a little bit about your story and like where you started with your career and how you've now created Unapologetic Wealth, right? Is the
Yeah.
name. Okay.
So
A
it's
little bit
so
of that.
interesting to hear how other people perceive you because I'm like, did I do that? Is that what happened?
It's fun, isn't it? I love it. Yeah, it's true.
It's fun, I don't know. I think when people go tell me the story, I always feel like I started at the wrong spot. I always feel like whatever year I pick is not the year that mattered.
Mm.
I think the truth is I was probably destined as a kid to be a loudmouth that told people exactly what they thought and was super opinionated and pulled people up using education and wisdom, but I didn't recognize it. And I was terrible at a lot of jobs before I kind of settled into what worked.
Mhm.
And for years, I thought, these experiences have been wasted. And now I recognize everything you've done before builds on what you have now. And so before I started my business, I actually was just a regular old salesperson. I've done door to door sales, I've done outbound telemarketing. Which is not fun at all. I was that person calling saying, "Hey, you owe this payment to this creditor. Don't you want to pay?" Getting hung up on, cursed out. That was me. I was a bill collector back in the day. And in time, I recognize I don't feel like this is a career. Like I feel like I have a job and it pays and that's okay. And so I said, well, I'll work for more prestigious companies. I work for DirecTV and I worked for Verizon and it was fine. But like, I hate technology. I didn't even have a smartphone at the time. I felt like such a fraud, tried to sell people into something I would never buy that I didn't even own. And it came out in my quota, right? Like it was hard for me to meet quota. It was hard for me to care. I had to learn about Dexter, this show that was on Showtime about this serial killer. I don't watch scary things. I'm actually a pacifist. I don't believe in guns at all. And I'd never watched Dexter. So trying to sell people Showtime when you've never watched Dexter and would never watch Dexter was comical. And I realized then just how much you have to stretch to like fit into corporate. Like you have to be this whole different person just to like get by. Like you have to lie. And it always felt uncomfortable for me. And so I said, you know what, Natalie, you've got a bachelor's degree in business. Get you an MBA. Get you a good, steady job at like the bank. And that's what I did. And, I moved up the ladder. I became a financial advisor. I got securities licenses. And I said, certainly this will make me happy. But you really are a button pusher. It's not the glamorous thing that you see on TV. You're not executing trades on the stock exchange. You're in a desk and you're convincing people to roll over this account with millions of dollars. And right when I thought I had my footing, the big scandal happened with the fake accounts. And it demolished our goodwill and made a lot of our good clients leave. And it kept us from getting a lot of good clients. And most of my pay was commission. So all of a sudden, I'm taking like a pay cut due to no fault of my own, which never felt fair or right. And so I said, you know what? I need some more fulfillment and purpose. I'll join the volunteer program. They had a volunteer system. They paid for 16 hours a year to volunteer. And I volunteered so much, I became volunteer of the year. I did financial literacy seminars all over the state, and I fed the homeless and I stocked the pantries at the food pantry, and I felt great about it. And I said, you know what? This will be enough. As long as I can do my work and get recognized for the volunteerism, it'll be fine. And then COVID happened. And suddenly I can't go out to the schools and do financial literacy. I can't leave my house and do anything. And I'm like, this is tortuous. Like the only thing that made my job fulfilling was the giving back. If I can't do the giving back, the job itself is gonna like, it's not gonna be great. And so I started doing my financial literacy online. I went on Clubhouse and I started talking to people. And eventually folks were like, you are so wise. Can I pay you to coach me? And I was like,
Hmm.
I kind of coach people at work. I'd be like a money coach. I could be a money coach. I've been a financial advisor. Certainly I could be a money coach, right? And that's what I did. And eventually I realized that it wasn't just money that people struggled with. It was actually their sales acumen. And it really wasn't even the sales acumen. It was self promotion and self confidence and self trust and belief. And so over the years, I've had iterations of versions of money coach this and wealth coach that and sales coach this and sales coach that. And eventually I realized I was an identity coach and I slapped it on my bio a few weeks ago. And there we are.
Just like that. Wow. So basically what you did, it's almost like you the layers of the onion, you just kept pulling it
Yeah.
back, pulling it back, and the root of the truth is it's the identity. That's the truth. So now you're able to just bypass all the others, get right to the roots of the truth and teach them what they need to know in order to embody that new wealth identity. Is that right?
Yeah. I would say that's accurate. I
Yeah.
like it. It's a great
Love it.
synopsis.
Yeah. I mean, I like to like just get it down. Well, I think it's really beautiful how you were able to, again, like bring it all through. And like you said, I believe we all have those paths, right? Where we are drawn to certain things, certain experiences, certain opportunities and certain jobs. And then to be able to weave that into something. I mean, that's basically all I've done is take everything I've ever known and loved and I'm passionate about and somehow figured out how to create a business and a life around it. So, I mean, I think it's really beautiful how now it's almost like you've taken the guidance and the wisdom and the passion for service and combined them. That to me is the beautiful thing. And I actually feel like there's so many people that are in either jobs or careers, if you will, and they're missing that element. They're missing that fulfillment and the purpose and the passion behind it. And so I love that you've created something that now you're able to just get all of your buckets filled,
Yeah.
your wisdom and your service, your give back and your brilliance. Like that's such a beautiful hybrid. Yeah. So do you work now mostly with entrepreneurs, like women, men? Who do you
Yeah. All of my people run businesses of some sort. What
Yeah.
they call themselves is different. Like, some people are like, "Oh, I'm the founder, but I'm not in the day-to-day operations." So like that title is different. But my people are not typically 100% W-2 employee. They've got some
side thing?
income stream exactly that is what most people would call self-employed. But I actually have all genders of clients. I have a really diverse clientele, which I really love. Actually, I find that a lot of spaces that are run by people of certain ethnicities tend to mirror the ethnicity of that person. Right. And so people always marvel that I've been able to get a really diverse clientele, which I won't say I woke up one day and set out to do it, but I'm so glad that that's what happened. Like I'm proud that I don't have a space that feels scary to certain clients, right? That would make them go, oh, I'm not welcome there.
Right. Well, I think your vibe, we're what, 7 minutes into this. It's like anyone listening is gonna be like, "Oh my god, you're, like, so warm and just open."
Yeah.
And I can imagine that people are just drawn to you because of that resonance. Your energy is so
Which I
compelling.
love. So proud of that because I don't know, like my best friend, one of my best friends is white. And I would just feel so, it would just not feel right to me if people who are white thought this is not safe. I
Right.
cannot pay her. I am not welcome. Thinking about like, you know what I mean? Like we just have so many allies and it's just, we can learn so much from each other. People who have different lived experiences and people who are of different ages. I mean, I have clients that are young millennials, older Gen Z, all the way up to baby boomer clients, which I really love because I feel like the wisdom that you can get from people who have lived in decades before you were even born is fascinating. Like, I love to hear about the 70s and the 80s because I was born in 88. And I'm like, tell me about that time you went to the prom in 1979. Like, I want to hear it. And I feel like we do such a bad job of giving space for those kinds of conversations. We have such an ageist culture here. When you look at some other cultures like Japanese culture, where people are revered when they turn 80 and 90 and 100 years old. And here it's kind of like, oh, you're menopausal. Oh, you're past your prime. Like it's just a difference. And so like being able to say, you know what? I love that you have a diversity. I love that you're different and that you're in a field that I'm not that familiar with and that you know people that I don't know. Like that's how I think you grow. And I teach fundamental basics that every business needs. Every business is dependent on a revenue stream. You have to have a sales process that closes clients and have client acquisition. You must. Every business needs a resonant message that makes it really clear and obvious what they do so that people can categorize them quickly, mentally, and figure out how they're going to pay them. Every single entrepreneur is the architect of their own money story. And if you feel like crap, if your relationship with money is bad, if you think that money is the enemy, you will absolutely sabotage every launch, every plan, every system, every tool until you get that settled. And so, like, I feel like I have such a ubiquitous product that people need. I love being able to serve people that maybe otherwise would get overlooked in different types of coaching programs.
I love it. I think it's beautiful, the inclusivity.
Yeah.
And like you said, the wisdom that can be gained from each of these different generations, right? It's beautiful. And I think the challenge that each of those kind of subcategories probably has may be different. But again, you have such a broad reach that you're able to support so many different demographics, so many different life paths, if you will. I think that's beautiful. So what are you most excited about right now that you're creating and working on? Is it the new identity work, messaging?
I feel like all of it's identity work now. Now I've got smarter and I'm like, it's always been identity work, goofy girl. Just
Yeah.
didn't enable it the right way. I'm always excited about anything new that I create because I always feel like that's where I have opportunity to like get new people and get, like it's always fun. And so we've got a money mindset offer that I should have sold years ago. I don't like to say should, but this is one of the few times where my brain is like, I should have been did this. Like, what were you waiting on? But it's called overflow. And I've been using that word colloquially for a very long time. And it finally clicked. It's an untraditional money mindset program because I am not woo. It's been a running joke. Someone called me woo on a podcast, and folks have been laughing for years. They were like, there's no way. Like the least woo person folks have ever met. And I used to think that disqualified me. I'm like, people want to hear from folks who are going to use their human design and their genetic code and their crystals and their eros and their vagina and their sacred womanly feminine uterine
Hmm.
fallopian tube power. Like, I'm gonna do these things. And like, I don't do none of that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what my uterus has to do with how much I'm gonna sell. Like, I haven't been able to make those sacred. I don't have the identity codes. I don't have the I don't have the stones. I don't have the crystals. I don't have the sage. I don't have the rocks. I just got Jesus. Like Jesus is enough for me. So I've always felt like no one's gonna buy this for me because they are expecting
The woo.
that. Yeah, yeah. They're expecting whatever that is. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what it is. I read copy on some of those sales pages and like, but now what is really being sold here? Like what is actually, and I think that's why people want to buy it from me because I am actually going to talk about like, here's what I did. Here's how you can rewire your beliefs. Here's how you can like scaffold your beliefs in the meantime until you've like built you a new system. Here's like a stopgap. Here's like some actionable steps you can take. You're going to like forgive and release and move on with your life. So I'm intrigued at will it work? Not will my system work because my system's ironclad. I'm living proof of that. But like, will the marketing for it work? Like, will people buy what they perceive is energetics and mindset from a pragmatic sort of person like me. So I'm actually I'm really intrigued by the whole thing. I'm actually, I'm a scientist at heart. So I'm always like, how is this experiment going to work out? So I'm excited about it because it feels like a fun experiment for sure.
For sure. Well, and it also feels very grounded, and I actually think so many people have been burned in that woo vibe, right?
Free. They're getting
It's like
sued. It's not what it used to be.
yeah, so I feel like the way that you're approaching it is very like, this is the framework, this is the structure. It's very practical, like practical magic, right? It's
Yeah,
own
exactly. Like, it's not that there's not some belief, some magic. I believe in Jesus Christ. He
yeah,
was killed and
mhm,
got up and left the tomb. I mean, I'll call that whatever you want. Sounds kind of magical to me.
right.
How
Yep.
about this? I don't know anybody personally who died and who got up a couple days later and just walked away. I don't know anybody who's done that. So I'm
Right.
going to say that's remarkable, right? And so I think sometimes women have been taught to give all their power away. And I think that's what's attractive with the gurus is that it's very, this is not in your control, right? It's the manifestation, it's the universe, all these other entities that aren't you have this power. And what I would love to be able to say is actually, you are the architect of a lot of what happens in your life. Like the bulk of what happens in your life and your reaction to those things is how your story ends up. And so, if you believe that people like me don't get to be wealthy, then a person like you never will be. You will sabotage every effort on your way to building wealth if you truly don't believe that you're the type of person who gets it. And nobody benefits from that stereotype not coming true, but the people who are already in power, the people who are already rich, the people who want us to be oppressed and disenfranchised. Like, we don't win believing that we're not worthy. There's no upside. And so I am a fan of dismantling any belief that does not benefit me and my community. It doesn't benefit my community for me to tell myself even what I used to believe, that I'm not woo enough to sell this program.
Right.
Who wins from that? The woo people who are already selling whatever they're selling, and anybody who benefits from me not ever reaching my fullest potential.
Yeah.
And so it's really important for us to decide. And I think that's what is powerful about me. I think that's what I do better than most people is that I'm very decisive. And if it's something I want, I'm gonna try. I don't know if I will succeed or not, but I'm going to give it a real, and when I say try, I mean real effort because I meet people who are like, Natalie, I tried to sell this. I tried to raise my prices and it didn't work. And then when I go on their page, there's literally been like one post.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're like, how many clicks did the sales page get? Oh, I don't know. I don't even track that. Well, did you write any emails? Did you like help me help you? Like where was the fruit? And so I think the passivity that society pushes on women, what do we teach women? Wait on a man to choose you and wait on friends to invite you and kind of wait. It's a very you just sit pretty until things happen to you. And I love being someone who says, go out and get it. Because that's the rhetoric that young boys are getting. Young men are absolutely getting training of if you want that partner, go get them. If you want that job, ask for it. If you want that raise, command it. And we lag. I fully believe the wealth gap is not fully predicated by men. I think that we perpetuate it as well, as evidenced by the fact that it grows when women go into business for themselves. When we go into business for ourselves, we actually do a worse job of closing the wealth gap than we did when we were getting paid by somebody else. And so that's very telling. That lets me know that these are societal patterns that are so deeply ingrained. They like seep into us unknowingly. So anything that I can do to get even one person listens to this and goes, Natalie's right. I have been playing small and I need to stop it, then that makes it worth it for me.
Absolutely. And it's almost like don't wait for an invitation to a seat at the table, like build a table. Like, I long ago was like, if there's something I want to do or create, like you said, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and see what happens. I mean, you never know, right? But you have to be brave enough and have the courage to create whatever is on your heart. And I feel like for you as well, these are like divine inspirations. God gives us these these ideas, what we're called to create. And my friend, I was talking to her yesterday and I wrote something down that was so lovely. And she said, when we do the thing, whatever the thing is, we are being obedient to the work that God has called us to do it. We're being obedient to the work. So if we're not stepping up and promoting the offers or creating them in the first place or doing the thing, we're not being obedient to the gifts and the talents that we've been given. And so I think it's beautiful, again, back to this identity piece that you're now helping people step into the wealth identity and helping them to be obedient to the call that God has created for them. So it's beautiful. I love it. I'm so excited for you. And I know that you love to travel, sort of. I'm kind of messing with you, but you did travel a little bit and you're going to travel again. Obviously I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. I'm not a big travel person. But you know what? My nervous system really likes sameness. It really likes routine. It likes to know what food is going to taste like. It likes to
Yeah.
know what the temperature is going to feel like. It likes to know the firmness of my mattress.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so that is why travel is difficult for me because I don't know what the mattress is going to feel like, and I don't know what the carpet is going to feel like, and I don't know what their standard of cleanliness is going to be like. I'm that person who cleans the entire hotel when I get there. So like it
Yeah.
just becomes a job between and I've also recognized, and this is something my brain didn't always get. I live in Huntsville. Huntsville, Alabama is the most expensive airport in the country
Wow.
because we have like 75% of our flights are paid for by the government because it's a big arsenal, like government base here. And so they can charge whatever they want because the government doesn't care what the prices are.
Right.
So that's one. Two, because we're in a smaller city, every flight has a connection or two. If I
Yep.
want to get from here to see my dad in Arizona, I have to fly from Huntsville to Dallas, Dallas to Phoenix, and then either drive from Phoenix to Yuma or fly from Phoenix to Yuma. And it's like $800 round trip.
Wow.
So when you live next to JFK, you can have a nonstop flight anywhere in the world and it's very inexpensive and you have more control. Most people wouldn't like travel if they had to travel under the parameters of travel that I have to travel under. You see what I'm saying? So like I've also learned over time, if you don't live in Huntsville, then your travel opinion really isn't relevant because you're not booking under the same scenario. Like most people wouldn't book a two connection economy $800 domestic flight either.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people would not do that. They've never had to because they live in Charlotte or they live in Atlanta or they live in Miami or they live close enough to a major hub where they've got more opportunity. But I've learned now I usually travel by myself and I usually travel longer than I think I need to because I get pretty intense jet lag. So I'm not a turnaround overnight, one night trip person. I'm going to stay there 7 days if I'm going to go because it's going to be day 3 or 4 before I even feel like myself. I don't pack my day full of activities. People, I don't know. I think, especially like, I won't say as I've gotten richer, because like I don't consider myself to be rich, which could be my own bias, but whatever. As I've made more money, I've recognized the way that a lot of people propose travel actually feels like it's rooted in scarcity to me. It's like we've only got one life to live. We've got to race and adventure travel. We got to do these things. We got to hit it hard. We got to wake up at 5 in the morning. We got to hike and do this. And I'm like, if you really had the money to be able to enjoy this leisurely and you had the time to enjoy it leisurely, would you be racing all over the country like it's amazing race? Or would you actually take in the sights and have some enjoyment? Like I want to travel and rest and rejuvenate and reset. I do not want to come home exhausted. So like what most people propose as travel to me is actually not palatable. And I've learned it's better for me to just do my own thing and be at my own parameter. But if you're one of those, we're in Morocco, we got to do everything there is to do, baby. Morocco is not going anywhere. We could always come back. I want to go to the spa. I want to sleep in. I didn't fly across the country to be tired in Morocco. I could be tired in Alabama. So I've learned a lot myself and my own travel preferences. And that I will say is a win.
Yeah. Learning yourself, right? I love it.
Learned myself a lot. Me and myself are not going to fling themselves into some random adventure because other people feel like that is a cute thing to do on a Tuesday. Y'all have fun. I'm going to go back to sleep. And I don't feel like that's a wasted trip because I spent half of it sleep.
Right. Well, I think there's an element of getting out of your own environment that does create relaxation because there's no laundry to do. There's no cooking. There's no, like it's just a different vibe.
Oh my
Like
God. I've been on trips with people who want to cook in the Airbnb. They're nuts. This is what I'm
crazy.
saying, man. This is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's crazy.
Restaurants out there where they cook for us and clean. It's fantastic.
Listen, I've learned lots about lots of people in the travel things. Buying groceries and cooking on vacation is
Yeah.
nefarious to me. Like it is absolutely never happening, but people do
Yep.
it. So that's why I say everybody's standard of what they consider a travel experience is very different.
Yeah. Well, and I would say also you learn so much about not only yourself, but also whoever you're traveling with. I always say, like, you should never marry someone that you haven't traveled with because it could be deal breaking, right? Depending on how they navigate and how it all
I
works.
don't really know people until you've traveled with them or lived with them. You need to do one or the other, absolutely. Like, you need to know what their baseline cleanliness and status of housework and mood, because a lot of people have mood swings, and I don't have mood swings. So I have outward mood swings. Like, I can regulate myself so that I can present in a standard way, and many people actually cannot do that. So, yeah, interesting times. I think
Yes.
that's good dating advice that you're giving.
Totally. And yeah, for sure, living with them, at least even for a week, it makes a big difference. You can tell. I also feel for me, like slow travel is the vibe. So I was like in Greece for 40 days. I was in my last spot in Albania for 30 days. I'm in this place where I'm at in Italy for 30 days. Like just going slow where you can just really sink into the culture and the community and start to really make connections. For me, that's the beauty of it. It's not a I'm on a schedule and I have to get out and do all the things all the time.
That's what I'm saying, and that's where I feel like most people are. They're still in the, "I wanna cram as much into this vacation as possible" time, because I don't know if I'll ever get back here, and I moved a lot of things around, and I got a sitter for the kids, and I burned 50,000 points, and, like, they're thinking about all they've already given up, and I'm just like, "I got hundreds of thousands of points, man." Like, I got so many Amex points. I could come back next month. It's not really a big deal. Like, if we don't get it done now, we'll just go later, but, like, I'm learning that is an atypical type of stance. That's what I'm saying. Like, you learn about yourself, and I've also learned that, like, other people's opinion really isn't that important to me. So I would rather have the trip that I want than to have people be happy with me.
Of course, every day, all day. Yeah. And what a gift that you learned that at under 40.
Yeah, yeah, I was like 30, 34, 35, and I was like, "Oh, yeah." I actually put it in my guide. I'm getting it illustrated, but I have a Nat Bullen user guide. So when people are new to me, if they wanna work on my team, if they want me to be their coach, etcetera, I, like, give them this PDF.
Oh,
And
that's
it talks
great.
about, like, all of my idiosyncrasies, like, how I'm a grammar snob, how my like, very close knit with my parents and how my parents follow me on Facebook, the kind of words that you'll never see me use online, like the F word, you'll never see me print that. If it's on my internet, someone else posted it, promise you. How I, don't like coffee and I'm basically allergic to caffeine. So that way they don't give me, coffee, gift card, coffee bag, because coffee's a really popular gift and I
Yeah.
actually will not ingest it. So, I go through my, my Clifton Strength and my Kobe and my disc and my Enneagram and my human design. People can just get all that information and what I believe in and don't believe in and where I'm skeptical and cynical and what my pitfalls tend to be, what you need to look out for in terms of my mental health, who my emergency contacts are. Pretty,
Yeah,
pretty comprehensive.
I mean, to be honest, I think we all need a user manual, right? Like you can get this guide and make sure that you can handle it before you ask
Yes,
me.
like, make sure we're aligned. Like, seriously, like, I don't wanna blindside you, but, like, I am somewhat atypical in what I believe and what I expect and what my standard of excellence is. And I'm like, I'm gifted and I think it's important for people to understand that, like, I'm not low maintenance. Like, I'm not easygoing. And so like, you should know what the parameters are before you agree. I think that is smart for everyone. Everyone should know the things about Nat. So
And I think too, for me, like, and I just noticed this recently, I very carefully curate my own environment to manage myself, right? So like I'm sensitive, highly sensitive to, sound and light and temperature and noise and all these things. So I carry, earplugs in my purse. So if I'm in a situation where it starts to get elevated, I can put my earplugs in so I don't get overstimulated. I don't do well with fluorescent lights and I will turn them off and I would rather have, soft lighting and less noise. It's just really interesting when you try to explain that to people that don't necessarily do that themselves.
yeah, people who aren't highly sensitive don't get it. Like, I woke up this morning and my next door neighbor, who's very sweet, he's retired and he's apparently trying to renovate every inch of his house. I mean, he's put on a new roof, he's cut down trees, he's done landscaping, siding, sidewalk. I mean, I don't know if his objective was literally to renovate every square inch of his home, but he seems to be quite fervent in that desire. And so I woke up to the cacophony of noise because they got buzz saws and they got hammer and nails, a whole crew of them over there. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this house.
Leave it be, you know?
But he's retired, he's bored, and he's not gonna let up. And so I definitely woke up this morning going, it would have been a great day to go to my offsite office had I known that he was gonna be in the middle of construction land, and so I will pay a premium to have a quiet space that I do not get
Disturbed.
overstimulated by, yeah, and disturbed by, because I have a lot to do. I have 10,000 words I need to write every day. Like I just have things going on in my mind.
Need peace and quiet and calm.
Yeah, I like my quiet.
Yeah. No, I feel like I need to write. I think I need to do a guide, like a Haley's guide to have.
You should. It's really cool. I'll send you mine. It's nice. But yeah, I'm gonna get it illustrated. I actually found an illustrator. And I submitted an inquiry. And so I'm just waiting on her to get back to me so I can have the cover be illustrated.
Love that.
Yeah. I'm like
No,
going all in on it.
see, with your identity work, that to me could be a beautiful addition to that because it's really the identity for myself. Like
Yeah.
who am I? What do
Yeah.
I want to thrive? And how can I help other people? Like it's like help me help you. Help me help you like thrive. So if I'm more honest about, hey, you know what? When I have to go into like a Best Buy and all those TVs are on, it's loud and there's fluorescent lights, I'm like, it's like I start to melt down and I'm like, I'm just gonna go outside. I'm gonna wait outside because I can't be in that highly stimulated environment without melting down. But that's not rocket science. It happens every time. So I can just be honest and be like, look, I don't do well in this environment. So you go, I'll be outside. Like the honesty and the truth telling.
It's the honesty. And most people are not honest about where they thrive because they don't want to be perceived as difficult. And I've spent most of my life being up against that stereotype of like, oh, Natalie's a picky eater and Natalie's has to have quiet and Natalie's this way. And if we invite Natalie, then we're gonna have to change all of our plans. And I'm like, don't invite Natalie. Because maybe Natalie don't need you, and that is really a powerful place to be. And I've always wondered too, how does me being a picky eater affect anybody else? Like, I'm not asking anyone to pay for my meal. I'm not asking them to prepare my meal. And I look at the menu and call the restaurant to see if they can make my accommodation before I even agree to go there. So I'm like, what exactly is the issue per se? But there are people who want to tear you down, even if they call themselves your friend. They want to level you and they think that what makes you special makes them insignificant.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I have learned that it is important for you to love you, and other people loving you or liking you is really just a bonus.
yeah. And the people that don't honor or respect the truth of who you are not your people anyway.
Exactly. And that's okay. But I think often we think I have to fill my life with someone until something better comes along, until those friends that would cherish me come along. I'll just stick with my high school friends, like but we don't recognize you actually repel better when you show the universe that you're willing to accept trash. Like you're not going to get a nicer spot if you have a bad spot and you don't take good care of it. Like if your apartment is crappy, right now, it's in poor condition because the landlord does not care about your safety and it's full of clutter and trash because you don't care about it being clean. It's not going to just magically turn around for you. Like you're going to have to stand up and say, this is the standard of living that I'm willing to accept. And anything below that standard is no longer admissible. And I will change whatever variable I need to raise things to my standard. And I think we don't even want to admit we have a standard because we want to be easygoing. See, that's the thing. We want to be easy to deal with, easy to manage. Someone somewhere told us we're too much, we're too loud, and we believed it. And we think life is easier if you just go along to get along. I have found the opposite is true, that living against your beliefs and values and peculiarities, like trying to fit into someone else's mold, is actually incredibly painful. It's like death by a thousand cuts. It's actually like the worst
Mm.
situations. Way better to be alone than to be around people who don't like you, don't love you, don't respect you, don't care about you, don't understand you, don't get you. Like being deeply misunderstood is so painful when you're highly sensitive. So I really don't even engage with people who don't get me. Like when people go online and they're vehemently against my point of view, I block them. This misaligned on the internet as strangers that don't know each other, why would we continue to deepen that? Like, why would we try to build on a foundation of disdain?
Ah, and dishonor and
Yeah.
disrespect.
You don't like me, and you're bold enough to come on my platform that pays my bills and tell me how you don't like me or anything that I stand for.
Like, why are you
Why are you
here?
here? Why are you here? But that shows you how lax their boundaries are. That tells you
Mm.
how low their pipeline must be. That tells you how small their bank account must be for them to have the time to go
And
tit for tat online with someone they don't really know. Yeah. So like I do them a favor and disengage.
I love that. I think that's a beautiful lesson in honoring yourself and the truth of who you are, and knowing yourself so clearly. And I think that also sometimes comes with age, right? The older you get, the more you're like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. And it
Yeah.
doesn't work for me at all. And I love that you're incorporating that into, not only just the work that you do, but the way you show up and the way you do your life. I think it's a great example of standing in your truth and honoring yourself because we self-abandon all the time. It's like, oh, it's not that big a deal. That's not that big a deal. And you start down that path, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, now this looks nothing like what I really actually want. Why am I even here? What am I even doing? And then it's harder to unravel those things, those relationships, because you didn't tell the truth of who you are, what you actually want, in the moment. I love it. It's so good. And yes, I'm going to create my own little guidebook and be like, here, you're going to need to review this, and then we can be friends or not. And it's okay either way.
It's really nice. It is so useful, and that way people who are new to you don't have to feel like, "Oh, I didn't know that about you," and you don't have to try to rehash and remember, like, what is important information for people to know, and you can just, like, update it quarterly. It's pretty nice. Pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, you should be, darling. And I think that, again, the more you let yourself be seen for who you really are, then you know that you know that you know that the people that ride with you, that are for you, are truly for you,
Yeah,
truly. And they are there for you no matter what in all the ways. And those are really the only people you want.
agreed.
Anyway,
See?
I
You get it. You're so sweet. This has been great.
get you. I get you, babe. Okay, so tell me where you're traveling in 2026. Are you coming over my direction? Are you coming to Italy or?
I don't know. I've got Amsterdam to see the tulips and a stopover in Paris on the books already for April. I really wanna go to Milan, though. I might try Milan in September for Fashion Week. Like, I might make that work out. I'm definitely have to go to the UK because I need to have a mixer over there in either Birmingham or London. Like, that needs to happen, and I also wanna do one of those unplugged digital detox cabins. It's like 3 days, analog only, you lock your phone up for 3 days, which actually gives me a lot of anxiety, which is why I need to do it. Like, the fact that I'm afraid of doing it is why I need to do it, so that's a thing. So I am excited about that. So we'll see. The UK trip is going to happen. I just need to figure out if UK and Italy will be on one trip or if I'm going to split them and what those dates are going to look like.
Well, keep me posted for sure. So that way, if the stars align and we're in the same, at least region,
Yeah, we could make it work. I mean, there's trains over there. It's everything. Because I really wanted to go to either Geneva or Zurich, but I kind of want to do Switzerland in the winter. I know it's going to be cold, but it's going to be so picturesque that I feel like it would be worth it. Like I feel like it would be. That's one of the few things, or like Vienna, Austria. Like I feel like some things are like you need to go in the winter to get the full experience. If you go in the summer, it's nice, but it's not like Lucerne is. You want to see the snow-capped mountain. Like you want to do the ride in the snow. So
different trips, right? This summer.
I'm okay with it being true. Like, I have so many points. I need to use the points. So it's fine. It's fine. Literally, I'm gonna figure the points out.
Yeah. And just book it all. Why not?
Yeah.
Mhm. I love it. Okay. So if people want to follow you and find you, what is the best way for them to do that? I'm assuming Facebook, first of all.
Facebook is my love. We'll link it down for them. I'm the only Natalie Bullen on Facebook that I've ever found, at least. Or they can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at Unapologetic Wealth. or my very new, beautiful, never before seen, your mouth is going to drop open when you see my beautiful website, unapologeticwealth.com. I've never had a braggable website, and now I do. Okay. I have the most photogenic, I have the most beautiful brand colors. It is a lovely UX, and it took a lot of work. So go on my website just so you can say, that is a nice website. Go Nat.
Go Nat. And we'll make sure that we put everything in the show notes so that way people can find you, follow you, and be part of your magical worlds.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for your time today, Natalie. It was so good to.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, and thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.
With a soul sparkle, soul sparkle. With a soul sparkle.